What's up guys, my name's 2Dandy and I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for streamers who are just starting out. Now I'm going to start this out by giving you a quick introduction of what you can expect in this video. So we're going to break it down into 5 sections. You have to have consistency, content, diversity, quality, and identity. You know, that sounds like something that was like a high school's logo or slogan, but these are all things I think are very critical for you to get right, to really get past that beginning threshold of either getting to affiliate, starting to build a community on any platform, or just growing as a creator. Now to get to the most easily described category, consistency, you need to be consistent with your content. If you're a Twitch streamer, you need to have a time of day or day of the week that you stream regularly so that your community knows when they can come in and catch you. These things are going to make it easier to develop expectations with your audience so that they will know when they're coming in and what they're getting from you. And for consistency, it doesn't have to be every day of the week you're uploading videos or multiple times a week. It could just be one day a week you're posting to YouTube, or even one day a month. Something like that so that you know that your community knows when your content is coming out. That's important to establish. Next, we're going to think about content, and content's going to apply very broadly to multiple games, types of videos you'd like to make, and everything that you're hoping to put out as a creator. What I can say above all is play games that you genuinely enjoy and have fun playing. If you're not having fun making the content that you're making, your audience will recognize that, and then they're not going to have fun with you. And understand that you don't have to be alone. You can play with viewers, you can play with friends, you can play with anyone in your community that you start to develop. And if you establish that you play with your community, it's something that can get them to continually come back to you to play games with you. But something to remember when you're playing with people is don't neglect the chat. Don't neglect the people who are reaching out to you who aren't in the game, and people who necessarily aren't directly interacting with your content. Make sure that you're still including them, because it will be super easy for you to get super into whatever game you're playing and completely forget that there are people there to watch you and to communicate with you. As far as selecting a game, I would say that it's important for you to find a niche. And what I mean by that is a section of a game that you enjoy playing that has a developed community or a devoted community. So we're thinking I'll use Rocket League for example, because that's my main game that I stream. I found a community of people who wanted to help players learn. And by being the player that needed to learn, I was able to consistently get these people who wanted to teach to come back. So understanding that there is a market in certain types of content and identifying which content you'd like to be creating. This content can be anything from, like I mentioned, learning, interacting with your community, comedy, professional play, high-level play. These types of things, understanding where your community is going to fit in the greater ecosystem is important to identify so that you don't try to be someone you're not. And then that connects us super easily into identity. Now, identity is super important to develop. It's who you are as a streamer, as a content creator. It's everything that you put out and everything that you are. Now, you might think that every streamer, every content creator sits behind the camera and is the most genuine version of themselves. That's not true. There's a little bit of acting that goes into it. You know, if you were to sit down at a stream and watch someone play a game and they just sat there silently playing their game, would that be fun? The answer is no. It only works for professional players or people who are providing substantive content outside of just communicating with their audience. They are really good at their game, they're providing learning experiences for their audience, or they are in a niche group of some kind. And you have to understand that those people are not to be the expectation, they are the exception. You have to be above those exceptions because those are the people who are that 0.1% of a 1%. And if you want to succeed, you can't focus on becoming that. It's like trying to win the lottery to become a millionaire. It's not an effective strategy. So when it comes to identity, think about who you want to be. What kind of player, content creator, or person do you want to be in front of the camera? And really reel that in, hone it into something that you want to be, to create, and then play into that person that you've created as much as possible. The next thing we're going to talk about is diversity. And diversity means where you're putting out your content. Now, if you are a devoted Twitch streamer, you'll understand that Twitch does not have a good algorithm for growing streamers. They're looking into making things change to be competitive with platforms like YouTube, but they are behind. And honestly, it's not a platform for growth. Now, I don't want to be just that wet napkin that says, make a YouTube channel, forehead. It's not going to work for everyone. There are other avenues where you can grow communities outside of Twitch without the restrictions of their poor algorithm that will really benefit you. Personally, I recommend everyone have a long form and a short form type of content. And what does that mean? Long form is sit down and consume type content, like YouTube videos and Twitch streams. Short form content is easily digested bits of content that are put out on a daily basis. TikToks, tweets, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, those small things that don't take as much effort, but can still help you grow your community. Now, with that, TikTok, if you are making content and you're not using TikTok, you're behind the curve. And I say that as someone who doesn't really believe in TikTok. I say that as someone who knows the strength of their algorithm. Personally, I put very minimal effort into my TikToks, and I post clips from my stream, and I've had TikToks get 80,000 views, and I've had TikToks get 30 views. Understanding how to optimize on each platform is very important. And understanding that on every platform, it is, for the most part, going to be a product of the amount of effort that you put in. And that leads us right into our final part, quality. You have to be the person that you want to watch. You have to be the person whose content you want to consume. What do I mean by that? I mean, we're looping it back around here to that point in identity. You need to be personable. You need to interact with your community. And if you're not doing that, odds are you're either a pro player who is only in it to play professionally, or you really don't care about growing your community. And that might be a hard pill to swallow, but you have to see that what you get out of content creation is exactly what you put in. The more effort you put in more diverse places, an example would be interacting with your chat, developing a scene. For me, this is my scene. I have all of this extra stuff that isn't necessary, this jacket, things that aren't required to be a streamer, but are unique to me. By increasing your quality, you are creating a niche for yourself, and you are allowing yourself to stand out among the sea of streamers. And you have to understand that it's all about making yourself stand out. And quality is, in my opinion, the most important strategy for making yourself stand out. And what you need to understand is if you have trouble engaging with your content, the viewer will have significantly more trouble being invested in what you're creating. You have to understand that it's important to put out your best self, to create the best content within your means. And now that doesn't mean buying a $5,000 camera or a $40,000 setup. What that means is taking what you have, learning how to apply it properly. And that's an important point. Learning about each of the platforms, learning about all of the products that you might need and any alternatives that might fit in your price range, and applying what you learn to your content. It is a product of effort, and effort doesn't necessarily mean time spent editing, time spent streaming, time spent thinking of tweets. Effort is anything that improves your content, and that is learning, researching, spending time planning, things that go overlooked. Well, you might just be sitting down to play a video game and your content is an afterthought. If you truly want to make it work, your content has to be the forethought. It has to be what you're focusing on, and it has to be what you're here to create. And if you aren't doing that, you should expect poor results. There are exceptions of lucky people who do make it doing none of these things. But that's the thing is, are you lucky, for one? And two, do you want to rely on luck, or do you want to make hard work make it happen? So I hope that helps some of you guys, and I appreciate you guys sitting in this far to the video. If you'd like to see more content like this, drop a like and subscribe down below. Check out my other social medias like my Twitch or my Twitter. All links are down in the description, and that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a good one, and peace.